for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled are author Leo Pearlstein and actor Ross Benjamin. Author-consultant Leo Pearlstein was born and raised on the East Coast. He has guest lectured at UCLA and Cal State Long Beach because he knows the topic of public relations and marketing as it relates to food. He's president of the Western Research Kitchen, a pioneer food consultant, an expert on the turkey industry, and the author of Celebrity Stew, Recipes of the Stars, and Mrs. Cubbison's Best Stuffing Cookbook. He even knew Mrs. Cubbison. Leo, how does one become a turkey expert?
Every time you think of turkeys, you think of me. Wow.
I know. How far back?
Way back. In fact, it was back in 1950.
Wow.
Wow. I was a kid then. I probably was the youngest PR guy in the country. I don't know. My first account was the California Turkey Promotion Advisory Board.
And how did you get that? How does a turkey company come to you?
Well, believe it or not, I was teaching adult education at Beverly Hills High, and I invited guest speakers. One of the guest speakers was the president of the Pacific Dairy and Poultry Association, and he was with Armour Foods, and Armour had the little tiny turkeys, the Beltsville turkeys. Well, he was so impressed with the fact that I was teaching people about food marketing. He said, "We need help in the turkey industry. We want people to eat turkeys the year round." And he said, "Maybe you can work for us. We don't have much money." We don't have much money.
Right.
Well, I said, so anyway, I met with a bunch of the turkey growers, and they hired me.
Did you think you were going to be marketing food when you were teaching this class?
Well, my dad had been in the grocery business, and I did all my homework we were not far from USC. And I'd go
downtown.
And we were a mile and a half from USC on Figueroa Street. I'd come in and open the store in the morning, then I'd change my clothes and rush down to school. And then I'd come back and do all my homework in the market.
Well, I knew somebody else there, 32nd Street Market.
Really? Well,
Maury Notrica.
Maury Notrica was a friend of ours.
Yeah.
In fact, I see Maury about once a year.
Oh, isn't that funny? So that little belt was a grocery belt.
Right. And his family grew like our family. In fact, we both belonged to Spartan Grocers, which was a co-op grocery, and then it became Certified Grocers.
I see.
And so
you got into the food.
So that's how. And
marketing.
I did all my homework about food. And so when I had the turkey account, I happened to be working also another job with Eddie Bracken. Eddie Bracken was a comedian actor, had Bracken Television Productions. And I worked with him, and I met a lot of the comedians and the actors.
Oh, so that is how we got Recipes of the Stars, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what can we say a pioneer is in this field? Was anyone doing that before, or did you just start it?
No, I guess I was about the first one, and Mrs. Cubbison, Sophie Cubbison, was a pioneer in the dressing business. Sophie Cubbison.
Actually, she's the same, still Mrs. Cubbison.
She was the real, not Betty Crocker, not somebody else, was the real Sophie Cubbison. And she was a real pioneer. She was making Melba toast.
Oh, I was going to ask you how it started.
And she had broken pieces of Melba toast, didn't know what to do with them. And so being a good cook, she went back and took her own seasonings and came out with a product that she served her friends and her relatives. And it's really the American dream. They said, "Why don't you sell it?" So she came out with Mrs. Cubbison's all-purpose dressing for poultry, meat, and fish.
And you were in the poultry business.
And, so that's how we met. And that became my account, and it's lasted. I still have the account.
And it's 50 years.
50
more than 50 years. But one thing we think of dressing, that you said Melba toast and all these seasonings, But we have something here today that's sweet,
Right.
made from the dressing.
Right.
How can you do that?
Well, that came as a result of LA Trade Tech having a big stuffing contest for the students. It's really cute. I think it's nice. It teaches them how to cook and very creative. One of the students, the winning student, instead of making the traditional vegetable or meat stuffing, added sweet fruit and the whipped cream, maple syrup. And it's all you can have it for breakfast.
Brown sugar, raisins.
So
And I was a judge at that cook-off.
Right,
And
I
I
heard
thought
that.
it was wonderful.
I heard, and it's so great to see the youngsters and some of the older students be creative and do a million different things with stuffing.
I know, I was so surprised about that. But this is Mrs. Cubison's stuffing with raisins and brown sugar,
Right.
maple syrup.
And by the way, it's on the website. The winning recipes are on the website, mrscubisons.com.
And it's from the school recipes
Right.
are on. Well, thank you for bringing this
It's
today.
our pleasure. The crew will gobble it up.
And then let's go on and talk about the other things you've promoted, because we're talking way before the Food Channel.
Right.
We're talking about creative marketing.
Right.
The almond industry came to you.
Well, when I was working with Eddie Bracken, and when I got the turkey account, and we promoted turkeys, and then turkeys became prunes, chives, eggs, and so on.
Right.
And what happened, and you should be interested and knowledgeable about this. Even then, people were crazy about celebrities.
Right.
Whatever they wore, what they ate, what they drove. So when I would meet the celebrities, they needed publicity just as well as I did. You know, my wife said, when they finish the movie, they're unemployed. They're in between jobs. So I said to the early celebrities that I met, I represent the state of California. We have food products. Instead of being in the scandal sheets, how would you like to be in the women's pages? I'll get your recipe in the women's pages.
Oh, like they made yes.
It's your recipe, your favorite
Right.
recipe. And you mentioned the Herald Examiner, which it used to be the Herald Express.
I remember.
In the old days.
I know.
Well, the food editor of the Herald Express would have a food page once a week, and she'd like to have celebrities. So we said, we'll take your photo with a turkey, and we'll cook it up, and we'll get you in the Herald Express.
But
So they
there's
loved
no place to do that anymore.
So they loved it, and I loved it because people saw a celebrity, Bob Hope. If they saw Bob Hope with a turkey, oh look, Bob Hope eats turkey. I'll eat turkey.
But you also have Bob Hope's recipe in here for grapefruit.
Right, Bob.
Whatever that was.
Bob Hope was a very good man, a very great guy, and he was promoting the Bob Hope Classic. And we had grapefruit that grew near Palm Springs.
Exactly.
So we went to Bob Hope. We went to his agent and said, look, we will help you promote the Bob Hope Classic, which is a charity. And if you will give us a grapefruit recipe and we can say you like grapefruit, he said, why not? And we helped him. We did a lot of work. We didn't charge him and he didn't charge us.
But that's the way you got your
That's
product
how we
placed.
did it. I do something for you and you do something for me.
Let's go on, because Steve Allen you used your people on his show, didn't you?
Oh, that was the greatest. Steve Allen
He wrote
was a true...
this is Celebrity Stew.
Right.
And this is about all the different things you've done. This is great, fascinating reading.
Steve Allen was a true gentleman, and he really was a great guy, but he was an entertainer. And we would put Miss Turkey stuffing on his show, or Miss Prune, or Miss Chive.
And you had these models come out and do that?
And they were very bright actresses, and I taught them everything about the product.
Yeah.
Because he was very academic. He'd ask questions. He had a dictionary on his desk. And if we had somebody on, I want to be sure they had the correct answer. So they had to study everything about turkeys,
That's
stuffing,
so great.
chives, eggs. It was great. We had more misses on his show than anybody
Tell
else.
us about the chives, because that morphed into something more than just
Oh,
chives.
boy, I tell you. We had a very attractive, bright model, actress. We made her Miss Chive. And my assistant, Elaine Rogers, said, why don't we put her on a costume with chives?
Oh, that's what you did.
So we had a bathing suit, and we blew the chives and put glue on her bathing suit. We blew all the chives on her bathing suit. She came out with his rather attractive bathing suit. And Steve said, "What's that?" He said, "That are chives." He said, "May I have one?" And he went.
He took a chive.
He took a chive. And she was very clever, and you taught her everything about chives, even the fact that Cleopatra ate chives from the River Nile. And it was just a lot of fun.
And then you did the potato.
We did potato, and then we had potatoes and chives and sour cream.
Right. So was that all part of
it was all part of the deal.
And were you putting your people together with, like, the chives and the potato?
We would call, in fact, the biggest success I had with chives was we had chives and sour cream with baked potatoes.
Yeah, right.
I went to Kraft Foods, and even though they were giant and we were small, I said, "We have chives, we're promoting chives and sour cream. Maybe we could work together. We'll give you our recipes, you give us your recipes." And we had a very good tie-in with Kraft Foods.
So you just kept looking for places, just creating and creating.
Well, that public
Really?
relations, I tell my students, public relations is looking for opportunities. And if you have an opportunity that relates your product that the consumer will be interested in, if you can tell a consumer when it's available, what to do with it, and say the kind words about it and give them a recipe, and then you go to someone else that has another product that works with you.
Yes.
You can't sell chives by itself. You can't sell stuffing by itself. So we make the whole meal, and everybody's happy.
That can work with everything. I mean, those are marketing tips.
It is. And with Mrs. Cubbison's, we have great friends. We have friends that have to do with yams, with wine, with pork sausage, with raisins, with walnuts. We call all them before the season, and we say, "Listen, we're going to be promoting in our recipes, we're going to use chopped walnuts. When you're doing, would you use Mrs. Cubbison stuffing?"
Oh, there.
And if it isn't Mrs. Cubbison, say prepared stuffing.
I see.
You know, because you can't, Mrs. Cubbison herself was a very bright woman, and she said, you can't sell your product by itself. You've got to teach the consumer how you can use your product with other products.
Every product. I mean, I was looking at cars, and somebody came out and said, "Oh, that's too small and that's too big." Well, that wasn't selling me the car. Sell me the car, just what you're talking about.
And really, it's telling people about your product or your service that you're proud of.
Right.
And don't worry about the competition. Don't say bad things about competition. Say good things about your product.
Well, before we leave, you have also, you teach handy tips for holiday time, all during the year, because holiday is from Easter on.
Right.
And one of the things that you talk about is safety in food handling.
Right. Well, you know, the government tells you every year thousands and thousands of people get sick. Some of them die, but they get tummy aches and so on because they just didn't use good judgment. Grandma had good judgment. Grandma used to wash her hands after she did something. She'd wash her cutting board. Grandma knew more than we did with all of our science. So it's really using your noodle and plan ahead. Don't run out the last minute and buy things. Make a list of the things you're going to do. Plan ahead. And then take, for example, poultry, chicken, turkey. Don't leave it on the counter when it's frozen. Put it in the refrigerator. Let it thaw out slowly. If it doesn't thaw out and you're panicky the day that you're making it, put it under cold running water. Never hot water.
Oh.
Hot water will bring bacteria.
I see.
And when you finish the turkey or the chicken or the roast, everybody goes in to eat. You leave it on the counter. The government says don't leave cooked food on the counter for more than 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So everybody's hungry. That's okay. Put it in a refrigerator. That's what we have refrigerators for.
Well, I'm so glad you came and told us those things today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I could talk for an hour.
I know, and we'd love to listen to you, but we have Ross Benjamin in the green room ready to come in.
I can't wait to hear him. I think he's fantastic.
Thank you, Leo.
Well, thanks for having me. Check Mrs. Cubbison's.
I will.
And also celebritystew.com.
Oh, you're right.
It's a fun thing, and they'll see all the photos.
And all the recipes. Bye. We'll be back with Ross Benjamin.
Thanks a million.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm here with Ross Benjamin, who was born and raised in Los Angeles. He graduated from Beverly Hills High and went on to major in English literature at Harvard. Ross studied at the British American Drama Academy, then spent several years in New York. He's a member of the New Jersey Rep Company and co-founder of Flat Shoe Entertainment. You've seen him on TV, the stage, and in film. And let's start, Ross, your place with the showbiz family.
Yes.
Where do you stand?
As the progeny of.
Yes, I guess. As
Two
it goes
parents who,
deeper.
well, you know, I have a sister who also is in the business. She's out in New York doing a lot of theater.
Is she?
Yeah, and
Prentice?
Prentice Benjamin. And, you know, growing up, I think we were both interested in all kinds of other things, which initially made my parents very happy. They know what a tough business it is and, you know, how hard it is to make it. I was going to fly planes for a while, and I was interested in all kinds of things. And
Yes,
then,
you never wanted to be in the theater?
you know, I got bitten about halfway through high school. I was doing, you know, I was playing sports and I had taken flying lessons and, you know, was interested in all kinds of stuff. And then I took kind of my first drama class and I loved it. And certainly my parents are supportive. I think initially it was, he's going that direction.
You mean
too,
at
but-
Beverly High you took a drama class?
Yeah. I started sophomore year there and they have a terrific drama program. Amazing.
Oh, isn't that
Yeah.
good? Well, your mother's Paula Prentice.
Yes.
Your father's Dick Benjamin. And you've been brought up probably on sets.
I
Or did they
have
keep
visited
you away?
them quite a bit. I mean, I will say, if anything, they were so grounded as parents, and it was such a wonderful environment to grow up in that you weren't always aware of whatever hubbub was around.
But a lot of
around them.
celebrities in the house.
Sure, and definitely visiting sets, and you know, that was the working life, and then there was the home life where, you know, they cared most about their kids and everything. So it was neat to see all kinds of people around, but you know, I still had to do my homework. I still had to make sure I was getting good grades and that kind of stuff.
But Prentice was also taking ballet class,
Yeah.
and I don't know if she wanted to go into the theater or not.
She started ballet very, you know, at like 3 years
I
old or something,
remember
and my
her.
mom took with her, you know,
Yes.
wanted to see what daughter was doing.
Yes.
And, you know, I think that just kind of morphed into this other area. You know, that career certainly has limitations with age
Exactly.
and span. So I think she just found, you know, acting was another way to express all of that.
Was there any other theater background, like in Paula's background or in Richard's background?
Yes, my father's family, not his parents, but he had uncles who were in vaudeville and or great uncles or something. So
really?
way back, there were vaudeville performers in his family. So I think somewhere, you know, that got passed down.
Well, here we are. You have the choice to act, but you didn't marry someone who's in the
No,
theater.
it's probably healthy. It's better for my mind, I think. I met my wife at Harvard. She's a doctor.
Isn't that
Yes,
different?
this is the only way the Benjamins are going to have a doctor in the family is if we married into one. So.
Exactly. Well, talking about the progeny of, do you think it helped or hindered you along the way? Because you've had a long career now. I mean, several years.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. It opens a lot of doors that are difficult to open, so there's something fantastic about that. But it also sometimes gives people the impression of, oh, I know why you're here.
Yes.
You know, I'm not taking you on your own merit right away because you got in this door because of something else.
But how do you deal with that?
I think you just got to go in there and prove yourself.
But
you know,
you can do it.
Here I am. Look at me, just me. Because the only way you're going to get hired is if they want you for the job. They don't care who your parents are. They may open the door for you, but they're not going to.
That's
hire
what
you.
I think too. And sometimes it's hard to get that door open.
Absolutely.
And-
So I'm appreciative of
Exactly.
any of those doors that open. You know, and I try to take advantage of them.
When you were at Boston, in Boston,
Yeah.
did you act? Were
I
you
did,
acting?
yeah. I was an English literature major, but you know, I kind of did a slant towards the theater side of things. I took a lot of theater-related classes.
Oh, you did?
The ART is there, which
Yes,
is a terrific,
I know.
terrific theater.
Was
And,
Leo,
Robert Brustein,
Robert
yeah. I
Brustein
took
there?
classes from him, and you know, that's an
Fabulous.
amazing person to learn from. And we got to do a lot of plays with people from the ART, and it was just a great experience.
That was
yeah.
terrific. And then you moved to New York. Is that when you became a member of the New Jersey Rep?
That is, yeah. That among a lot of other jobs that I did when I was there.
What is a New Jersey Rep? Same like ART or
Yeah,
like?
it's a theater company. It's out in New Jersey. It's you know, I think just a really good small theater company that does some really interesting work. And
And are you still a member?
I am a member. I'm not terribly active, to be totally honest, because I'm out here in Los Angeles.
Right.
So
But what do you do? It's just a regular. Do you write? Do you act? Do you do the
they have writers and directors as part of that group. I do some of that kind of on my own out here. I've been producing for a little while now, film mostly, and I try to keep that active, keep my mind moving.
But you are acting because you're in this play at the Pico Playhouse.
Yes,
A majority
with my
of
mother.
With your okay,
Yes.
tell us with your mother, but she doesn't play your mother.
No, she plays my mother-in-law.
But
so.
when you come on stage and you say, "Oh, Mom," everyone thinks, "Oh,
Of course.
do you hear the audience? Can you hear
Oh
the
yeah,
reaction?"
I mean sometimes they drown us out. It's quite funny. You hear,
Because
he
she's
looks
not your
just like
mom.
his father. Yes, I know I do.
But he's not. You're not her son. You're her
No.
son-in-law.
Yes.
So I think we know you're the son-in-law, but we get shocked
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you say that.
Shocked, and I call her Mama the entire play.
I know.
Just
Is that the
nature.
way it was written?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
Leonard Spiegelman wrote it.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell
yeah.
us a little bit about him.
He's a playwright. He wrote this in 1959. So I don't know him personally, but I mean it's a really nice piece. It's about something I think resonates now. Prejudice and crossing kind of cultural and ethnic boundaries. It's a nice little piece, I think.
It played on Broadway.
Yep.
And he also did several Broadway plays.
Yeah, he did do some others, and it was made into a movie with Rosalind Russell
yes,
and
it
Alec
was-
Guinness.
Right.
Yeah. So it's it's been around for a long time, and it's a real kind of. It's just a nice piece about people and about relationships.
And it's done with the West Side Jewish community.
Yep,
Right.
West Coast Jewish Theater.
Is that what? Are you active in that?
Now I am. I just became active in that.
But do they do a lot of productions?
They do. They've done several this past year, and they seem to do some really good stuff with really good people. I know Hal Linden did a show with them, and seems like a great group that is dedicated to doing Jewish themed theater.
Oh, that was the Jewish thing. But they use different theaters around the city, don't they?
They do. I know they've used the Pico Playhouse a few times, but I think I've seen that they've used other theaters as well. Yeah.
So tell us what Flat Shoe Entertainment is.
That's a company I started with a friend of mine, and we actually run quite a large screenwriting competition out of there.
Oh, that's
which
right.
is-
You started a screenwriting competition. What is that?
It's for screenwriters. They have to be unproduced screenplays, and we offer, kind of generous prizes. First place is something like $11,000 or
Really?
something. And
How do you raise the money?
there's a fee to enter the contest.
so it kind
and
of-
and we get 2,000 submissions, something like that.
Really?
And a lot of them have gone on to, be produced, and good things have happened to them. And it's a great way to get discovered.
Have you produced them?
I have not personally produced any of those. I've produced other films. I actually have a film that National Lampoon just picked up called Hard 4 that I produced and I acted in. Ed Asner's in it, and Dabney Coleman, and my mother is in it as well.
And your father? No.
He's not in this one, no. We'll get him in the next one.
When I saw him the other day, he said he was working on some projects with
Yeah.
you.
I have a couple projects with him that, I'd be producing and he'd be directing and stuff, so we're trying to get those moving.
And would you be a part acting in them, or?
There may be a part or two for me, yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your TV work. Are you still doing?
Oh, yeah. I actually was on Life on Mars, which just
Right.
came on, and I had a good little spot on there. And I was on the Tracy Ullman Show as a recurring character for a little while,
Yeah.
which was really fun, and she was amazing to work with.
Do you learn? Are you still learning from people on the sets?
I think you're always learning. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love working is you take something away from it always, and especially being around really, Tracy Ullman's an incredibly skilled performer, and she was someone who was amazing to be around,
Could you just pick it up? Can you just see what's going on?
You certainly see what can be going on. You want to be able to be at that level, but and from the other
that's
side,
right.
and the producing side, I love to see how everything works, and I love to see how it gels and how people get performances out of people and get everything done in a day that they need to get done.
You were talking about producing. Is there a group of you, like your age group of actors and writers that kind of hang together?
There are some, I find more and more people want to be kind of delving into different areas of the business. I think it's become hard to rely on one thing, like acting. Otherwise you're waiting around for a job. So writing is a way to have your own material. Producing is a way to have your hands on the whole thing.
But do you work with other people that you've known?
Yeah, there's like a good friend of mine who I went to college with who's
That's
a
what I
brilliant cinematographer, and we've done things where we've co-directed, we've produced. He writes a lot, and then he has other people, and I have other people who write. And
Yeah, that's what I wondered, if there's like a group of you that
Yeah.
kind of like artists who sit around and talk about things.
and try to do things,
Yes.
And I think we found that, that kind of collective brain power is a good thing to harness and to use.
Have you thought of directing?
I have directed.
Your father directs.
Exactly, and I've watched him for years, and that's almost the best education you can get for that kind of thing. And I have directed, certain short films that have won some festival stuff and done things like that. I think it's a matter of having your hands on some good material, so you convince someone that, sure, you should let me direct it.
Is that the thing?
It helps, I think. I think it helps.
And you also do write, you said.
I write some, yeah. I found that I like helping write other people's material. Once they've given me a script and stuff, I find that I can be very helpful in kind of working with them to shape it, to turn it into something better, hopefully.
I see.
The actual, sitting down to start something, it seems a little lonely to me. I like talking to other people. I like interacting. And I'm a little too hard-headed to share that kind of creative responsibility with someone.
Well, we have seen you for years, of course. And sitting here with you is a long way from your bar mitzvah, which we attended.
I know. You were there, 13 years old, becoming a man.
And you weren't quite this tall, but now you're pretty tall.
Yes, it's tall jeans.
It is tall. Oh, yeah. Tall, skinny jeans.
Tall, skinny jeans.
Well,
Mom and Pop.
We've been waiting to have you on, to get you on when you really are reaching your height. Ready to explode.
I hope I'm still moving upward, but I'm so happy to be here. It's so nice of you to have me on.
So thanks, Ross.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Write to me at jaquinn1 at AOL.com and 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. See you next time.